So, Acha, I want to ask you guys one question. Are you guys comfortable if I take Monday 1 to 4, 3 hour session? Friday is class, by the way. That does not mean that Friday is off. Friday is class. Monday, are you comfortable with 1 to 4? Yes, sir. Yes. है ना? Because I don't want to I don't want to have clash with any other program that students might have enrolled in. General will. So now, Jivesh, 11 to 2. नहीं नहीं Jivesh. I'm not asking 11 to 2. I'm asking 1 to 4. इसका बताओ बस. Okay. ठीक है. So Monday our class is 1 to 4. 3 hour. I'll also give you 15 minutes break. Okay. Because Tuesday Unit 2 will be over. I have to finish Unit 2 by Tuesday according to my target. Okay. Everything is going by target till now and I want to maintain it. And target for Unit 2 is Tuesday. Okay. That is why Monday we are going to have 3 hour class. Jivesh, Vajiram class 11 to 2 I have. Oh, Jivesh. You attend Vajiram class 11 to 2 and then 2 to 4:30 you come here. How do you consume so much information? Jivesh, it's only about matter of one day. You can always see the recorded lecture. It's only about matter of one day. Anyhow, so we are done with 1A, 1B, 1C. We are left with 1B only for the time being. Okay. By the way, you guys may open that section where you have written sociology versus common sense. Okay, just for 2 minutes, I want to tell you one more thing. Sociology versus common sense. Before I get back to synthetic versus formalist, which we were doing yesterday. Okay. Sociology versus common sense, just one more point. Because I feel that common sense is something that there are few concepts which generally should be taught at a later stage. But I thought that, okay, I can teach you those things even today. No, not a big matter in that case. See, if you remember sociology versus common sense, you guys know very well what did I try to do? In sociology versus common sense, I tried to do only one thing. I tried to project sociology as very opposite to common sense. This is what I did. All the time I did sociology versus common sense, as if these two are enemies. This is what I did. Okay. But the fact is, there are many concepts that we use in sociology or are coined by sociologists and have become common sense to the people now, and they start using those words as if they are words that has to be used in common parlance, as if everybody know the meaning of those things. Such commonsensical those words have become to those people. They do not realize that those are sociological concepts. It happens. I'll give you one example. You must have used this word in your everyday life, or you might have heard someone using this word in your everyday life, and that word is, for example, defense mechanism. Huh? है ना? Yes. See, this word was actually coined by Sigmund Freud. used by Sigmund Freud, to be precise. Okay, popularized by Sigmund Freud. But we do not know this. Generally, people do not know this. Okay, they use it. Okay, I was, asking him about this question, ये वो सब, and then he became so defensive out of nowhere. ना defense mechanism है उसका ऐसा. So we keep using these words without realizing these are actually concepts coined by scientists, social scientists. Okay. So similarly in sociology, there are many concepts which students or common people use in their everyday life. For example, I'm sure you have heard of this term also, role model. है ना? You guys must have heard of this term, role model. All of us have one or the other role model. For you guys, the role models are Ashok Himka. Okay, people like Ashok Himka, IAS officers, or some IPS officers. Okay, or people who are working in Bollywood. To them, role model is Shah Rukh Khan, Hrithik Roshan. Okay, everybody has one or the other role model. A role model is someone who you aspire to be like, someone who you look up to, someone you get inspiration from, right? And then you start behaving like him. Suppose if I like Hrithik Roshan a lot, I'll try to dance like him. Okay, I may even try to look like him, I may even try to speak like him. इतना बड़ा influence हो सकता है role model का आपके ऊपर. Okay, but this word was coined by a sociologist who is there in your syllabus, Robert Merton. He is there in your syllabus. Sociologist number 5, unit 4. And what does it show? Although sociology is very opposite to common sense, but sociological knowledge also becomes part of common sense over a period of time. And then it becomes very difficult to differentiate between common sense and sociology. Are you trying to understand what I am trying to say? Let me tell you some more concepts that you guys generally use without realizing that those are concepts coined by sociologists. You must have used this word a lot, or must have heard some other people using this. Vote bank. I'm sure, 100% sure, you must have heard or used this word. This word was coined by M.N. Srinivas. He is also given in your syllabus. Paper 2, Indian sociologist, M.N. Srinivas. Okay. ठीक है. So this shows there is one scholar who has specifically said it. The name is Anthony Giddens. He once said, over a period of time, sociological knowledge or concepts also become part of common sense. Okay. So, whatever you had written in that sociology versus common sense, in the last paragraph, just write one line. However means halanki. However. sorry, not however. Write although. Although at the surface although at the surface it seems, although at the surface it seems that sociology and common sense are opposite. Although at the surface it seems that sociology and common sense are opposite, comma, ओके, दिखने में लगता है ऊपर से कि सोशियोलॉजी और कॉमन सेंस एक दूसरे से एकदम ऑपोजिट हैं, लेकिन ओके, कॉमा, although at the surface it seems that sociology and common sense are opposite, sociological knowledge / concepts over a period of time become part of common sense. Although at the surface it seems that sociology and common sense are opposite, comma, sociological knowledge or concepts over a period of time become part of common sense. Remember, when you start a sentence with although, there is no but. ओके, कुछ लोगों ने बट लिख दिया होगा यहाँ पे, ये सोच के कि मैं भूल गया. ओके, although and but are not used together. ओके, although जब आपने लिख दिया कॉमा ही आएगा उसके बाद, फिर जो सेंटेंस लिख रहे थे विदाउट बट और हाउएवर और एनीथिंग. ओके, so although at the surface it seems that sociology and common sense are opposite, sociological knowledge or concepts over a period of time become part of common sense. For example, role model and vote bank. For example, role model and vote bank. There are many examples that I can give, but I don't want to give right now because then you will start asking, यार इसका क्या मीनिंग, इसका मीनिंग, फिर वो थ्योरीज पे ही जाना पड़ जाएगा. Let me come back to where we were yesterday. Synthetic formalist. Synthetic formalist. Okay. Quick revision. Who were synthetic scholars? Mainly French. Basically, those people who reacted to modernity. They were the first ones to react to modernity. Mainly conservative. Auguste Comte, Emile Durkheim, all those people. Okay. And what was their ambition? Since they came up with a product called as sociology right after the revolutionary phase, so they believed it is that product which can cure all the diseases in the society. It can help us to know the laws governing the society. It can help us to know the orderly phase which would come in the future, because societies are governed by laws, and sociology is one discipline that can help us unravel those laws. Okay. Such was their ambition. So they believed sociology can study everything. Can study everything. These guys believed sociology should study limited aspects of society and can only study limited aspects because we are not gods. We cannot study everything. Okay, and we should not be studying everything, otherwise we will lose our importance. If you can do everything, you are no one. If you can do few things in a specialist manner, you are something. Okay, so formalists believed sociology should study limited aspects of society. Limited aspects of society. Okay, mainly they were German. In French synthetic school, I have already told you examples and few names. Like for example, I talked about Durkheim. To him, sociology consists of 3 branches: I hope you remember the names of three branches. Even if you do not, you can easily go through your notes. I had written social morphology, which is very much close to demography. I had written social physiology. Physiology, have you heard this word physiology? Have you heard this word physician? Physician. Who are physician? Can someone write? What is the meaning of physician? Doctors. Okay. Okay. So that way, Durkheim was a doctor of society. See, Auguste Comte, just like Auguste Comte, he believed that we can cure the ailments, the pathologies in society, because they believed society is like human body, and this human body has developed certain pathologies. Who would cure these pathologies? We, the doctors of society, the scientists of society. That is why, and there is one branch in sociology which talks like this, which speak like this, okay, which develop laws like this to cure the ailments or the pathologies, and that is social morphology. So, social physiology, sorry, social physiology. Okay, social physiology would study whole body. Doctors, what do? They study whole body. Okay, then they have specialist, radiologist, cardiologist, but as a doctor, they study everything. Similarly, a फिजियोलॉजिस्ट सोशल फिजियोलॉजिस्ट वो स्टडी एवरीथिंग इकोनॉमी प्रॉब्लम कहाँ है इकोनॉमी के अंदर है चेक करता हूँ अभी माइक्रोस्कोप से प्रॉब्लम कहाँ है रिलीजन के अंदर अभी चेक करता हूँ माइक्रोस्कोप से ओके प्रॉब्लम कहाँ है मीडिया में है लेट मी चेक इट विद माइक्रोस्कोप ही इज एक्टिंग लाइक अ डॉक्टर ऑफ सोसाइटी वेयर इज दैट प्रॉब्लम emanating from coming from okay and the third branch that Durkheim talked about is general sociology general sociology what is the purpose of general sociology branch to develop theories laws just like what is the purpose of doctor after scanning the body after MRT scan CRT scan CT scan what does finally doctor do he will give you pills medicines okay he will tell you if you consume these medicines for next 4 days everything will be fine so similarly these people general sociologists they give theories or laws that is when society will get fixed okay they develop laws and theories okay now this was synthetic school Durkheim in comparison to Durkheim these people formally school they believed we should be studying very specific aspects no we cannot study whole economy we cannot study whole religion we cannot study whole media as an institution it's difficult it's impossible almost impossible social reality is not so simple that it is there in layers it is very complex reality okay so instead of studying big institutions grand institutions let us study small scale things like forms of relationship in these institutions what kind of forms of relationship people build up in these institutions because content may differ content may differ the name of people may differ the kind of things they quarreled over they fought over may differ but they fought is one thing they will fight and they will reunite so this is form of relationship only okay so and who was that scholar who believed in studying form of relationship and not content of relationship George Simmel yes George Simmel. Form of relationship should be studied. Okay. What are the forms of relationship? First, centralization, decentralization. अच्छा लोग इसमें confused भी हुए थे कल. Let me explain it again. Okay. Centralization, decentralization. Second is consensus, conflict. Consensus, conflict. Third, subordination, superordination. Okay. Now, how do we use these things in our everyday life? What is the purpose of learning this? I'll give you one example, then you will get to know eventually, although you will still not be able to understand fully, but still you will get some idea as to how these things are going to be used later on, okay, when we study those units. Suppose there is one law which government has just passed. The name of that law is, okay, Hindu Succession Amendment Act. Let us take this example. Hindu Succession Amendment Act. What was the purpose of this act? Nice. The purpose of this act was to pass on the property to daughters. Daughter inheritance. Female, yes. Okay. Daughter, earlier we had male inheritance to property. With this act, now even daughters can inherit the property. Okay. Daughters can also inherit the property. Now the question is, if before this act men had full possession of property, that means what? Men had what kind of relationship in comparison to women? Superordinate, subordinate. Okay, I'm just giving you one example as to how. This is not how we are going to write every time. It's not that tomorrow you start using these words every time in all the answers. I'm just giving you example. Okay. Property was centralized. Property was centralized. After this passage of act, property had now become decentralized. Now even daughters can inherit the property. Agreed? Now even daughters. Before it, only male could inherit. That way property was centralized. Now the question is, if now daughter can also inherit the property, will it not create conflict between brothers and sisters? Huh? Yes, it will create. Dekho, we celebrate Rakhi. That's a different issue. Okay. But when it comes to property, people forget their blood relation also. Okay. People forget their blood relation. Joint family is one setup which can unite all of us under the one shade. The moment that day comes when this property has to be distributed, tab dekho kya hota hai. Then you will get to know what kind of unity these people actually shared in the first place. Okay. They will go to their individual room, build up strategy to convince the grandfather as to why you should get the maximum share. Okay, then it will create conflict. So now you understand that Whether we talk about centralization, decentralization, consensus, conflict, subordination, superordination, these are only forms of relationship that all of us share in different contexts. You will come to know eventually about all these things. Okay, I don't want to give lot many examples in these cases. Now, Ferdinand Tönnies, I told you, he is the one who was interested in studying only, since they are the people who want to study very limited aspect of society. So he is the one who is interested in studying only the changes in the degree of intimacy, nothing else, nothing more. Okay, changes in the degree of intimacy. Okay. Changes in the degree of intimacy. Gemeinschaft to Gesellschaft. Gemeinschaft to Gesellschaft. Acha, tell me one. I'll ask you one question. Okay, then you will have to answer. The caste structure of our society. Caste structure of our society, of Indian society. If you look into that caste structure, what would you find? Cooperation or conflict? Now you will get to know actually what sociology is all about. Yes, very good. Very good. जिसने both बोला, very good. Okay. Yes, both are there. Conflict is also there, cooperation is also there. Yes, conflict and cooperation both. Now the question is how conflict and how cooperation. Conflict you easily understand. If Brahmins are exploiting Dalits, okay, if Brahmins are not letting Dalits enter into temple, this shows conflict. If men are not letting women enter into temple, Sabrimala case, conflict. Gender relations, okay, conflict between genders over religion, okay. So conflict is something you will easily see every day. Cooperation, how caste structure maintains cooperation. If you know, suppose I have 4 people in my room. I have 4 people in my room, okay. One person is a specialist in education. I'm not talking about students. I have 4 people in my room. All those 4 are very senior professors. One is specialist in education. Okay. Second is army officer. Okay. Third is businessman. Okay. And fourth is chairman of Safai Karamchari Andolan or committee. Okay. Now all these 4 people are very different from one another. Okay. But let us assume also that all these are coming from their respective caste. If you remember, and if you know this, by the way, since I have not told you, but I assume that these are those things which are very basic. Brahmins are generally considered as those people who possess knowledge, who have monopoly of knowledge. Kshatriya, they are warriors, warrior class. Vaishya, merchant class. Okay. Shudra. Shudra are those who serve the upper 3. Serve the upper 3. Okay. Now, if we have divided the labor amongst 4 different sections. One will be looking after education, second will be looking after protection of boundaries, okay, second will be doing business, fourth will be serving upper 3. That means what will happen? We will have cooperation. Once we have cooperation between these 3, because between these 4s, and all those 4s are specialized in their activities, so this will automatically ensure cooperation. See, if I know I have to study only, I do not have to go into army, or my family do not have to go into army. So there will be no conflict between me and the army people. I am specialized in my department, he is specialized in his department. So that way we ensure cooperation. Okay, division of labor. Simply. So that's how caste structure is both consensus and conflict. Okay. Both about consensus and conflict. Okay. This is what Gandhi believed. Gandhi, he never saw conflict in caste. He always saw consensus and cooperation in caste. Gandhi was not very much against caste structure, initially at least. There is something that you will get to know once you read about Gandhi before 30 and after 30. Pune Pact was the landmark event when his views on caste started changing gradually, because he somehow got to know that Ambedkar has become hero of Dalits and I am losing my charisma. He started changing his views on caste. There is something that you will get to know eventually. Okay. Anyhow. Gemeinschaft, Gesellschaft. Gemeinschaft is the pre-industrial society. And this is post-industrial. Okay. That means in Gemeinschaft, in those times, before industrialization had took place, in those times, all we had was nothing but traditional institutions like patriarchy. We had traditional institutions like patriarchy. What all did we have? We had religion. That was church. Okay, traditional institutions that we had or used to dominate. What all did we have? We had monarchy. We had estate system. We had joint families. Okay, all these things we had in Gemeinschaft. Okay, and Gemeinschaft means community feeling, we feeling, community feeling, we feeling. Suppose you have joint family. Okay, joint family. Tonys would say joint family is characterized by community feeling, we feeling, hum saath hai. Okay, we had so many pictures in 90s which had 10 or 12 superstars. Do you remember those times? I don't know if you have seen those movies, initial Shah Rukh Khan movies or Salman Khan movies, when Shah Rukh and Salman used to be friends. They used to make grand movies, 10 superstars, multi-starrer. Those movies used to display joint familial setup. Okay, joint familial setup. And there was one grand uncle who was always there in all those movies, every time playing one character only, grand uncle. Okay, to Salman or to Shah Rukh. But today you would not see such movies coming up. Today you would see movies about hero, warrior, Radhe, Dabang policeman. Okay, you would not be seeing movies about joint family. You would be seeing movies about aspiration of an individual. Aspiration of an individual. I has become dominant in today's media. In all the movies you would see, it is all about one hero, hero-centric. In those days, we did not have hero-centric. There were multi-starrers because we had to show joint family. Okay. So from we have come to I. Monarchy. Monarchy used to ensure discipline, community feeling, we feeling. Okay. Man, as you know, according to Hobbes, is stupid, nasty, lazy, greedy. To control such people from destroying themselves, we have to have strong monarchy, which can maintain order. Okay, which can subjugate those people to the commands of the divine. That's how we feeling is maintained. Everybody simply succumbing to religious authority or church or priestly class. Whatever you would say is fine. We do not have fundamental rights today. So in those times, we did not have. So nobody would question him. Okay. So we feeling was strong. Today, we talk about secularism. Right to express our faith in whatever form we want to. Okay. We may not visit temple, but still we are religious. Why should we display our religiosity to you? Acha, unless we say Bharat Mata ki Jai, we are not Hindus. Okay, no, it is our own method to show our religiosity. I has become dominant. We feeling has lost, completely lost. Okay, patriarchy. In those times, women would do whatever the man would ask her to do. Because to women, man was manifestation of God on earth. In Hindu system, we have this concept, Dharam Patni. Dharam Patni. Okay. Religion is always used, has always been used to subjugate the desires of women. Okay. Or to annihilate her individuality. But today we talk about women empowerment. I of the woman has become more important. We talk about me too. No more we. It's me too. So from we have come to I. Fundamental rights, individual. Fundamental rights automatically grant you individualism. Okay. So I hope this is clear. Now, one more scholar. Although whatever he has said is not very different, same thing only, just to tell you scholar's name also. So that is why I am telling you, okay. Although it won't make much difference, even if you write his name or no. See, first of all, one should remember, there is no such rule that we have to write 10 names or 4 names or 3 names or 1 name. Okay. It all varies. There is no such rule. Even if I can write 10 names, I can also write 2 names. Okay, but those 10 names should be addressing to the demand of question. If those 10 names, just for the sake of name throwing, if I write those names and those names are not addressing my demand, I won't get marks. On the other hand, some other person is there who has written only 2 names, but beautifully addressing the demand of the question precisely, he will get full marks. Okay, so the number of names do not matter, the quality of names is something that matters. Okay. Anyhow, von Weiss. Von Weiss. Okay. Okay, wait. Instead of von Weiss, let us talk about our superhero. Okay, whose name I did not want to take initially, but now I would, because he is going to help you everywhere. Max Weber. He belongs to Formula School. Why? German. He was German. He does not belong to Formula School just because he is German, by the way. That does not imply, okay, that whosoever is German, he is formalist. No, aisa mat sochna. Please do not think like that. Okay, he is formalist because he talks about limited aspect that a sociologist should be studying. Okay. And what is that limited thing that he wants us to focus on as a sociologist? He says that sociologists should study, sociology should study social action. Social action. Highlight, underline, italic, bold, everything. Social action. Now, what is social action? In order to explain social action, I will ask you one question and see what do you think, and then you will automatically get the answer. I hope you guys remember structural functionalism. Even if you do not remember, I'll tell one thing from there and then I will connect it to social action. Then I will show you how social action is different from every other theory and what social action is all about. Okay. So, okay, let us forget all these things. Structural functionalism. If you remember, structural functionalism was all about society consisting of multiple organs: religion, media, family, law, state, okay, whatever you can think of, and all these organs contributing to the maintenance of society as a whole. Each organ is contributing to the society in one or the other way. Okay, each organ. Just like human body has multiple organs, each organ contributing to the survival of human body. Now, my question is, I'm going to pick out one organ from this society, and I have picked out family. Sorry, I have picked out. Let me talk about marriage. I have picked out one institution, marriage, and second, I have picked out religion. These are two institutions in our society, marriage and religion. I have picked out these two. Now I will ask you, what is the function of marriage? Function of marriage to society, larger. What is the function of marriage to society? Can somebody tell me? Srishti Agarwal, to promote next generation. Okay, acceptable. Producing children? No, Saurabh. Prevents alienation. Atika, maintain continuity, security, prevent revolt. See, the function of marriage to the larger society is to build up family. Simple, na? Why complicating things? Function. What is the function of marriage? It builds up family. What is the function of family? Then the next question, what is the function of family? Function of family is to socialize the children with norms and values. Or what else can be the function of family? To produce workers or the working class for the industries. Only through family you would have babies who would study in school, then get promoted to a college, then get a job, and eventually contributing to the economy, and maintaining the society thereby. So there are multiple functions. Okay, socialization of the children, then uh, continuity of the system, working class, for industries. This is what so boring structural functionalist explanation to the institutions are. Now, let me talk about Max Weber, social action theory. Now you will understand what structural functionalism is and what social action is. I just asked you few minutes back, what is the function of marriage? You said family, socialization of the young, or continuity of the society, or working class for the factory. This is what you said. Now, if someone asks me, what is the function of marriage to you? Why are you marrying? Huh? Would I be saying, because I want to maintain the continuity of society? Is this the kind of explanation that you guys give when someone asks you, why do you want to get married? No. You would say, I'll tell you, what would I say? Okay, I will say, let us assume, see, since I'm not married right now, so I'm free to say whatever I want to. ऐसा नहीं कि you start judging me. Okay, don't judge me. So I will say that I'm marrying this American girl so that it becomes easier for me to visit America, have a green card, citizen holder. I'll become American. What an opportunity. Let's get married to this girl. Huh? Functionalist people do not realize this. They are talking about what institution contribute to the society. Are stupid functionalists? Wait for a second. Ask that individual why he wants to get married. Na? What is the function of religion? What will structural functionalists say? And then again, I will explain you what an individual looks at religion like. Okay. What is the function of religion to the society? Can you tell me through structural functional perspective, in the sense, what does religion contribute to the society? Can somebody tell me? Morals, maintain social order. ठीक है? Basically, it infuses morality. Maintains order. Simple explanation. Let us not talk about what Durkheim would say on religion, what Malinowski would say on religion. Okay. I want to have your opinion for the time being. Only your opinion. Okay. Nothing else matters for the time being. Only your opinion. Okay. As long as you are correct. Okay. And talking about what those functions are to the larger society. Rules and regulation, all those things. Okay. Now, this is you. This is you. And this person, not you, let me talk about Ambedkar. Ambedkar. Do you know how did Ambedkar use the religion? Forget Ambedkar, I'll come to Ambedkar. Let me talk about myself, or let me talk about you guys. How would you use religion? You guys use the religion in your everyday life to seek charity. Some of you might have worked for Helpage India. Helpage India, when we were school kids, there was one foundation, Helpage India. Okay, we used to visit doors of our neighborhood. Uncle, please, 50 rupees. Okay, just give us your blessing. Okay, this blessing should be at least 100 rupees. Okay, it will serve the elderly people. So we used to usurp religion to pursue our interest. Okay, or suppose, again, don't judge me. Okay, suppose suppose I like some girl. Let us suppose. Okay, and I know that this girl is very religious, and I know that I am not religious. What will I do? In order to impress her, I'll start talking about Bhagavad Gita, okay, Bible, Judaism, Christianity, just to impress her. So how am I using religion? To form relationships. To form relationships. Okay. But functionalist people do not think like this. They always think about how religion as an institution contribute to the society as a whole. But Max Weber would say, एक बार कंफर्म तो कर लो उस आदमी से. This is what Max Weber would say. At least confirm. Once, you stupid functionalist, please confirm it with that individual, really. Last year, before lockdown, there was a case which came in news, Hathras case. I don't know how many of you have heard about that case, Hathras case. Hathras case. Hathras is a village, okay, where Dalit woman was raped by upper caste men. Dalit woman was raped by upper caste men. This came in news. This came in news, but it was very much in news, okay. And why it was very much in news? Because it happened after Nirbhaya culprits got hanged. Still such news were coming in. So people obviously had to, had to feel shocked. Despite capital punishment, these people are not. Okay. So, do you know what happened finally? The villagers of Hathras villagers, after that incident, they converted into Buddhist religion. They converted themselves into Buddhism. After that incident, now you would be thinking like, after rape, someone converting into Buddhism, I am not able to understand. Why? That rape was not just a rape. It may seem to you a personal trouble. That one woman raped by 3-4 men, very personal trouble. Think about 1 million women every day, Dalit women being raped by upper caste men. It's a public issue. And when something is a public issue, the solution would also have to be structural. And that is why just hanging the upper caste men would not solve the issue. You would have to resist the larger religion, that is Hinduism, which legitimizes the rape by upper caste men over of the lower caste women. The same Hinduism which legitimizes the control of upper caste men over the body of lower caste women. So the solution would also have to be very structural, and that is why Ambedkar, unlike Gandhi, was not reformist. He was radical in those times. Very radical, because he challenged Hinduism. He did not challenge Hindus. He had sociological imagination. That way, despite not reading sociology, He had sociological imagination. And that is why, C. Wright Mills, someone who has given this concept, he says that it is not a gift to sociologists. It is not a gift to sociologists. Anybody can have it. Okay, his chapter, the first chapter starts with the title, The Gift of his book, Sociological Imagination. Okay. Anyone can have sociological imagination. Ambedkar said, although we have entered into democracy, as long as we have Hinduism, democracy will never ever be nurtured in a way we, the people of India, the way we have written in preamble, expect it to be like. Okay. Because democracy talks about equality of opportunity, Hinduism is built on graded hierarchy and graded inequality of caste structure. That is why both of them are opposite. And that is why he said, I resist Hinduism, I will burn the Shastras and I will annihilate caste. Karl Marx talked about abolition of class. Ambedkar talked about abolition of caste. And Ambedkar had written one book, Buddha and Marx. Such was the power of Ambedkar, such kind of scholar he was. He wrote a book, Buddha and Marx. He infused theories of both those people. Anyway, let me come back to this topic. Otherwise, I would digress and I would keep talking randomly about whatever comes to my mind. Hathras case. These people, in order to challenge Hinduism, because victim was Dalit woman and Dalits are always oppressed, and Dalit women is doubly oppressed because she is Dalit also and she is woman. See, generally in general studies, we talk about women issues. This is how we read in GS. Women issues, as if women is a homogeneous group. Women is not a homogeneous group. Women is not a homogeneous group. It consists of multiple identities. Dalit woman is different from Brahminical woman. Both women have different sort of issues, different sort of struggles. Black woman different from white woman. Both women have different sort of struggles and issues. You cannot have women issues, just like you cannot have men issues. Do you have anything in your GS like men issues? No. By writing women issues, already we are trying to say they are inferior. UPSC has legitimized the inferiority of women. Okay, anyhow. That was just a joke, okay? These Hathras people, they converted into Buddhism. And their conversion to Buddhism was what? Challenge to Hinduism. Can structural functional theory explain me that religion has this function? Structural functional theory will always tell me religion is used to provide values and norms to the individuals so that they are able to differentiate between right and wrong, veg and non-veg, and maintain the society as it is, maintain the family as it is. Religion is used, or religion, the function of religion is to maintain the society. Everybody would be given ethics. Most of the students who are studying ethics, they know they have to read Guru Nanak, Lord Buddha. They must be reading it. Ethics start with religion only. Okay. Ethics start with religion only. Anyhow. But look at these Hathras people. How are they using religion? They are using religion to assert their voices, to challenge the orthodoxy of Hindu caste structure. Can structural functional explanation tell me this thing? No. Okay. Okay. So that way, what is happening here? It is nothing but conflict perspective. And what is functionalism all about? It is about, turn the pages, you will get to know. Functionalism, I had written one line, functionalism slash consensus. Functionalism is all about consensus, maintenance of the system, cooperation. But what I have just explained here, religion is being used by a section to challenge orthodoxy of another religion. This shows religion can also create conflict in the society. Structural functional explanation cannot tell me this. Only Marxist explanation can tell me this. Whatever I just said was nothing but Marxian explanation to religion. Because I talked about conflict, how religion is being used. Okay. I hope it was not so overwhelming to you guys to listen to these things. Okay. Over a period of time, you will get accustomed to these explanations. Okay. But let me come back to social action theory. That was the main agenda. I, as an individual, is something that Max Weber talks about. I am using religion to impress a girl, to form a relationship. Hathras people are converting into Buddhism to challenge Hinduism. In both the cases, religion is used, but for different purpose. In one case, religion is used to challenge another religion. In one case, religion is used to impress a girl. So, what is social action? This one individual using religion in his own way to gratify his interest. This is social action theory. Here, it is not social action theory, it is conflict theory. Marxian conflict theory. Is everything fine till here? Then only I will proceed. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How did Hinduism legitimize rape? Egan. How Hinduism legitimize rape? When Hinduism tells clearly, Dalits are inferior. Clearly, it tells it. Dalits are inferior to Buddhists, to Brahmins or to upper caste men. And the same Hinduism also tells us that women are inferior to men. Now, Hinduism tells me Brahmins are at the top structure of society, Dalits are there, lowermost, untouchables. Okay. The same Hinduism also tells men are superior, women are inferior. Okay. And then you have one person who is not only Dalit, who is also a woman. What does it show? That that person is doubly oppressed, double oppression. Double oppression because he is inferior in both the hierarchies. Double oppression. This is what some of you people who belong to Team Crenshaw must realize this. Okay. Intersectionality. This is what we call as intersectionality. Okay. Looking into different structures, seeing the bottommost people, and then those person are belonging to the two different structures, being placed at the bottommost in both the structures. Intersectional oppression. Intersectional. Okay. Not only oppression by Brahminical men, not only oppression by Brahmins, but also by men, and both are Brahmin men oppressing, or the upper caste men oppressing Dalit women. This is double oppression. And why Hinduism legitimize rape? because Hinduism considers those people as inferior. And if you are inferior, anybody can do anything to you. This automatically gives legitimacy. Administration, IPS officers, whosoever want to become IPS officer, all those people who want to become IAS officer. The Hathras case, when those people from administration were called out by the media, what happened? All those officers belong to Thakur community, the community of Chief Minister Yogi Nath Aditya. And when caste association build-ups and you have Dalit women before you, what can she do, or what can her relatives do to us? That is why her body was burned overnight. Nobody could do anything. Oppression to Dalits or oppression to Dalit women is very normal, considered or made very natural by the media or by the administration. Okay, just to give you, I'm not creating hatred. I'm just telling you what reality is. Anyhow, let me come back to our formalist versus synthetic. Let us not go too much into all these details. We will come to these things later on. Max Weber. Sociology should study social action. Write down the meaning of social action. Social action is defined as meanings and motives of the individual. Any action that is driven by meanings and motives unique to individual. Any action that is driven by meanings and motives unique to the individual. Okay. Unlike structural functionalist and Marxist theory, write down, unlike structural functionalist and Marxist theories, which focused on structures of society, unlike structural functionalist and Marxist theory, which focused on structures of society, comma, the social action theory given by Max Weber focus on individual actions. The social action theory given by Max Weber focus on individual actions. Focus on individual actions. Okay, fine. Okay. As an individual, I can do whatever I want to do with religion. I can impress a girl. I can indoctrinate someone into believing me, whatever I'm saying is right. I can make someone terrorist just by using religion. I can convert someone, proselytization, missionary mission, ब्रिटिशर्स के टाइम पे हुआ था, अगर स्कॉटिश मिशनरी मिशंस एजुकेशन के नाम पे कन्वर्जन, रिलीजन यही सब कर रहा था. I can also use religion to bring changes in the religion. Ambedkar, although people believe he became Buddhist, but I think people do not know this fact that he was against Buddhism. And that is why, and that is why he invented new religion, and the name of his invention in religion was Neo-Buddhism. 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 This is also called as Ambedkarite Buddhism. Ambedkarite Buddhism. Now the question is, what all changes did he introduce into Buddhism? I would not be going into those details because I just wanted to give you one example as to show how individual can use religion for his own purposes or whatever he wants to do. It is not only about maintenance of society, those random abstract philosophies. All you guys must be knowing that in Buddhism we have three sects. The three sects in Buddhism: Mahayana, Hinayan, Vajrayana. But Ambedkar developed a new yan, and his yan is named as Navyan. Navyan. That means new wheel. Navyan. New wheel. Not lesser wheel, not greater wheel, not magical wheel, but new wheel. Okay. Why Ambedkar was against Buddhism? This is one question. Buddhism talks about enlightenment, nirvana. Ambedkar said, you are talking like those Hindus, Brahmins, nirvana. You also believe in those things. Then the philosophies like nirvana are only responsible for the subjugation of Dalits. Okay, because it is believed that those people are not born from God, they are coming from the foot of the God, not from the head of God. And you are emphasizing nirvana, which is there in the head of God, around head of the God. That means you are again going to divide society into supreme Buddhist and lower Buddhist. I reject this enlightenment concept, nirvana concept. Okay, such was the power of Ambedkar to think like this in those times. He was everything. He was philosopher, he was lawyer, he was jurist, academician, economist also. Okay, anyhow, now is social action clear to everyone? If yes, then we can safely finish off this topic. Yes. Sir, is there any religion which supports equality? The question is, what is equality? What do you think equality is? If you think that equality means man and woman, both man and woman, and even the third gender should be treated equally. If this is what equality is, it cannot happen. I mean, it cannot be ensured through religion. Okay, it cannot be ensured through religion, and there are many reasons behind it. I know I don't want to go into those details. There are many reasons behind it. Generally, it is believed that Sikhism is the most altruistic or most egalitarian religion amongst all. It is believed, since it is the youngest religion and it has come after reforms or taking lessons from multiple religions like Islam, Hinduism, rejecting evils from all those religions. But that does not, even in Sikhism you will find inequality. Okay, but I don't want to go into that right now. I am also Sikh, by the way. Okay. Write down. In conclusion, rest of the things you will get in handouts only. So I don't want to go into details. The larger thing you already know now. In conclusion, both synthetic and formula school, divided the subject matter of sociology into the study of grand structures, economy, polity, religion. Bracket में लिखो, you can write in bracket macro. Grand structure means macro structures. Comma, groups and forms of relationships, bracket में meso, okay, MESO, meso, that means something which is coming in the middle, and comma, and micro, that is social action theory, which is talking about individual meaning and motive. Macro, meso and micro. Macro, meso and micro. The subject matter of sociology can be divided into study of large structures, macro, comma, forms of relationship, okay, bracket meso, comma, study of individual social action, comma, okay, so bracket में micro. Does social action mostly intertwine with religion? No. Religion कहाँ से? Religion was just used as an example to show you the meaning of social action. Let me give you one more example of social action. Suppose I give a cup of coffee to a girl. Suppose I give a cup of, यहाँ कोई religion नहीं, no religion is involved, no economy is involved, just two individuals. I am giving a cup of coffee to a girl. What does it show to you? You can see one picture. I am giving a cup of coffee to a girl. What does it show to you? And I also know why I am doing it. Okay. According to Max Weber, the study of individual meaning is more important than what is portrayed, or how that event is contributing to the maintenance of society. Okay, obviously, if I am giving cup to a girl, it is not contributing to the maintenance of society. Nonsense. Okay. Simply, I am a shopkeeper. He asked me for a cup of coffee. I gave it him. I am a shopkeeper. Okay. So, my action of giving a cup of coffee to her was purely commercial. It is not that I was thinking of dating her. It was purely commercial. She gave me money, I gave her a cup of coffee. Study my individual meaning and motive. This is what Max Weber is saying. Focus on individual meaning and motive. Okay. Perspective. Yes, perspective. Why did I marry, or why I want to get married if I want to that girl? Or why? You must have heard many stories in Hollywood. A girl, let me also talk about the other way around. Okay. A girl who is aged 25 years, he is getting married to 60-year man. In Hollywood, it is very normal and usual. Why does it happen? That 60-year aged man, do you think she is in love with that man? It's all about money. He is not getting married to that man because marriage contributes to the maintenance of society? Ask her. Okay. She may tell you, do you think I'm materialistic? I'm marrying to that man because I am running after money. Sigmund Freud. I'm going to explain you next scholar, which will tell you exactly why that girl married that man. Sigmund Freud. The next topic is sociology versus psychology. Write down. This is the last topic. We are going to study socio versus psycho. Socio versus economics and socio versus history. UPSC tells us in our syllabus comparison of sociology with other social sciences. UPSC has not mentioned which other social sciences. Social sciences consist of so many disciplines: linguistic, communication, media studies, so gender studies, so many things are there. Which exactly? So that is why I have focused only on 3 for the timing, considering previous year questions. Okay. So I believe that to them, these are the most important so-called other social sciences. That is why I'll be focusing only on these 3. If you want me to talk about other discipline also, you may. Okay. We will see if we have time, then we can discuss. Anyhow, so let us finish this last topic of Unit 1, starting with sociology versus psychology. Let us start with Srishti, anthro. Okay, it's very easy. Anthro and sociology are brother sisters, very close to each other. Social anthropology. You know, there must have been many students who have heard a lot about psychology since their childhood. How is Max Weber a sociologist? Adarsh Gupta going by social action theory when he's neither radical nor structural functionalist? There are multiple branches in sociology. Structural functionalist and radical are 2 branches. There are many other branches as well beyond it. These 2 branches developed with modernity. But as sociology grew and became mature, many other branches also got developed. Okay, Max Weber's theory of social action is another branch. Okay. Anyhow, many of you must have heard a lot about psychology since childhood. Okay. And there are many people who say like this, I know exactly, I can understand psychology. Okay, I know exactly why he did that, why she did that. I can understand the behavior of humans. Okay, I know what is the meaning of that thing is, why he did that. So, the problem is when you talk about psychology is one subject that deals with individuals purely and the mind of individuals specifically. Okay, so let me again first draw a table. This will become easier for us. Psychology versus sociology. Psychology, first point. It deals with humans' mind. learning process, nervous system, psychic behavior, or mental systems. Or hopes and fears. It deals with everything that individual is concerned about in his life, as if his life is antisocial. Okay. It deals with human's mind, learning process. Learning process, that is why we have child psychology. You must have heard about this branch, child psychology. Okay. My son is not really focused. Please help. So child psychologist will come, give him counseling sessions. He will not obviously be listening to her. Okay. He will again do the same thing that is notorious, something that his parents are also fed up with. But child psychologists try to make sure that he gets back his focus or start concentrating. Okay. So psychologist basically treats an individual as an object. Okay, something that needs some fixation, some errors are there which can be removed. Okay, and there are many instruments they carry to do that. Okay. Deals with humans mind, learning process, nervous system, psychic behavior, mental system, hopes and fears. Okay. Hopes and fears, acrophobia, claustrophobia. You sometimes you say I'm feeling very I'm claustrophobic, so I cannot go into lift. When I enter into lift, I feel fear of confined spaces. Okay. Subject matter of psychology. Sociologist cannot do here anything. Okay. Sociologist is not interested in these things. Why individual start feeling fear in a lift? This is not the subject matter of sociology. Okay. Why did you start liking chocolate ice cream? Till yesterday you were having vanilla ice cream. This is not the question that you should be asking to a sociologist. You may ask the stupid question to psychologist. Okay. Sociologists do not deal with these things. Okay. Sociologists can definitely tell you, if since we have social action theory also, why today only, out of nowhere, he has started eating chocolate to build a relationship with that girl whose favorite is also chocolate. This is what he can do. He may be wrong, he may be right, but that does not matter. But this is the max that we can do. Okay. We are not interested in studying nervous system. Okay, all those things. Anyhow. Second point in the psychology. It studies individuals in isolation to the larger society. Studies individual in isolation to the larger society. So that means when a psychologist is dealing with an individual, that psychologist is not interested in his religion, in his caste, in his class, in his family structure, in his occupation. To a psychologist, he is simply an object of experimentation. Okay, and whatever problem is there, it is internal problem. Something is problem in the unconscious mind. I will reveal that what is going on in the unconscious layer of your mind, the subconscious element or the conscious element. These stupid terms, okay, you must have heard a lot about unconscious, subconscious, superconscious are those people who have attained nirvana. This is what psychologists will explain. Superconscious. It studies individuals in isolation to the larger society. Okay. Now let me talk about the other side, sociology. What does sociology study? Now you know. Now you have a fair idea. Sociology studies large social structures like family, media, religion, state, globalization. We study globalization also. You know, think a subject which is talking about why I ate ice cream. Two, the process of globalization, talking about colonialism, talking about unequal societies world over, okay, global inequalities, or me having Coca Cola being a new form of colonialism because I'm getting addicted to America or I'm getting Americanized every day. My life choices are being shaped every day by the media houses which are controlled by America only. So I'll have McDonald's, I'll have Coca Cola. So that is why the world is slowly getting Americanized only. To a geographer, America is there. But to a sociologist, America is everywhere. America is everywhere. So psychologists would not be talking like this. Psychologists would be like, he is not even interested in Coca-Cola. He is like, why you wanted to have Coca-Cola right at that point? Huh? क्या चुल मच गई थी तुमको? Anyhow, sociology studies large social structure like family, media, religion, state, globalization, etc. Second, also individual actions. Individual actions. Second point, it studies. ठीक, इसका opposite लिखेंगे हम. Here we have written it studies, psychology studies individuals in isolation to larger society. So what is the exact opposite? It studies individual as part of society. That means individuals are shaped by society. Therefore, nothing is personal trouble. Everything is public issue. We are not concerned about personal troubles. Psychologists are concerned about personal troubles. We are more concerned about public issues. Okay. There is always a difference between trouble and issue. Trouble is something which is individual, individualist. Issue is something that is felt by many people. That is why public issue and personal trouble. Okay. So, third point, you can safely write personal trouble. And here, public issue. So, basically, I'm using the concept of sociological imagination to differentiate between psychology and sociology. This is what you will start doing in later units also. You will start using the concepts that you have learned in unit 2, in unit 3, or even in unit 4. And this is how the process will go on. Okay. And by the time we reach unit 10, you will get confused. Can we write that concept that we learned in unit 4 in 5 and 6 in here, unit 10? Then problem will start emerging. Okay, so it all matters how much clear you are with every concept that we are dealing with. Okay, now let me talk about some scholars. Sigmund Freud. Sigmund Freud. An Austrian human being, Austrian individual. Austrian. Why is Sigmund Freud so famous? I'll give you one example to explain Sigmund Freud. Suppose I go to a shopping mall and I came across a jeans, and that jeans, the label, the MRP of that jeans is 10,000 rupees. And how much balance do I have? 2,000. In my pocket, I have 2,000 rupees. And I want this jeans badly. Today, आज ही चाहिए. ठीक है? Now, what will I do? I'll keep looking at that jeans. This is what generally we do when you go to mall, na? And you start looking at the things that fascinate you. महल. Okay, and then you window shopping. Yes. So you start looking at the jeans. खड़े हो, आपका भाई चले गया, मम्मी कहीं है, पापा कहीं चले गए हैं, तुम्हें पता ही नहीं कि मैं कहाँ हूँ. खड़ा देख रहा हूँ. I'm just staring at the jeans. Okay. So you know what is the first thought that actually came to my mind according to Freud? Freud is saying that I want to steal it. I want to steal it. But you know what will happen? See, what is actually happening? The moment I look at the jeans, I would want to have it badly. And I will start thinking, let me steal it. Okay, I'll start looking here and there. Let me steal it. This is what I'm thinking. Suddenly, my another side, okay, which you know always sounds very mature side, it will tell me, are you stupid? You have studied so much in your life, you have BTech, MA, MPhil nonsense, and then you are talking about stealing. Shame on you. This is what your parents have spent so much money on you. Then suddenly I will think about that. Yeah, right. What should I do? Then the third person will come in me. Third person will tell me, ask that person for discount. So one person is very radical. Steal it. Okay. One person is very radical, highly intuitive, impulsive, easily carried away by impulses. ले लो, इसका मन कर रहा है. So third, shame on you, idiot. What are you doing? Have you forgotten morals, ethics, GS4? And the second person, think rationally. You know both the sides. You can have best of the both worlds. Think rationally. So the second person, which comes very later on, he is very rational. Ultimately, Sigmund Freud would say, what will I do? I will go to that shopkeeper. I will ask him, do you guys have discount? This is what will I do? I'll go to that shop here. Do you have discount running? No, sir, we are not running any discount. Sorry. Then I'll go back. Now, Sigmund Freud, you know what will he say? He will say, when this person, Nishat, when he went to that shopkeeper, asked for a discount, he was not his real self. His real self, he has hidden his real self. The real self was that person who wanted to steal it. But in front of shopkeeper, he is projecting his unconscious, he's projecting his conscious self. Conscious in the sense, a self which has thought a lot over something after conversation with these three phases. Okay, this is the conscious. The real individual is that who is hidden, who had unconscious thoughts. And I will reveal the real individual of this person. trying to act as mature person, asking for discount. I know this man is the one who wanted to steal it in the first place. So basically, Sigmund Freud is that person who believes that individual's mind has three components: id, id, ego, superego. Id, ego, superego. Id, ego, superego. Id is highly impulsive. Or intuitive. Or aggressive. Intuitive, impulsive, aggressive. This is what the id inside you is. Everybody has this. Okay. Someone would mock you in front of 2 or 3 friends. You would want to kill him. भाई आदमी फर्स्ट टाइम मिल रहा है और बेइज्जती करने की कोशिश कर रहा है मेरे दोस्तों के सामने, मेरी बेइज्जती पहली बार मिला है लेकिन नो 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 नॉट लाइक दैट, ऐसे you would be like this. So basically Freud is saying that individual has three components: id, second is ego, and third is superego. And superego is highly moral. Highly moral. Moral. And it is the superego in your mind which has stored the societal norms and rules. It is the storehouse of societies, norms, and rules. The superego. And what is ego doing? Ego is the manager of your mind. It will resolve the conflict between id and superego. And then you will manifest whatever id or whatever ego will tell you. So the act of asking the shopkeeper about discount was something that ego told you after the conflict between id and superego. Okay. So ego that way is a rational self. Rational self. Okay. Clear? So basically, this thing, what was the objective of Sigmund Freud in his life? You know, what was the objective of his life? He spent his entire life in studying the unconscious mind. Unconscious mind. And what is the unconscious mind in that example? Unconscious mind is something which was hidden. Steal, you wanted to steal it. That was unconscious mind. And ego, discount please. This was conscious mind, manifest after so much conflict between those zones of mind. This was the conscious, you knew what you were going to do. Okay. And write down one line. Sigmund Freud devised psychoanalysis. Psychoanalysis. Spelling of psychoanalysis like this. Psychoanalysis. Sigmund Freud devised psychoanalysis to explore or to understand the functioning of unconscious mind. To explore or understand the functioning of unconscious mind. This device or this method, psychoanalysis, consists of different tools to explore the unconscious. This device called psychoanalysis consists of different tools to explore the unconscious, which are which are which are pre-association, I'll explain, and dream analysis. Pre-association and dream analysis. Okay. So I hope now you have a fair idea about Sigmund Freud. Fair idea. We are not going to go deep into Freud because we're not student of psychology. Okay. Free association. What is this free association? I'll just simply explain the meaning of this term, because you will also come to read those scholars in future who were inspired by Sigmund Freud. Okay. So that is why I'm talking briefly about Freud also. As you know that the motive of Freud was to explore the unconscious. That means he believed that is the real self. The self who wants to steal the genes is the real self, and that wanting to have discount is the fake self, and he wants to explore the real self. Okay, so he believed that one tool is free association. Like for example, what will Freud do? Suppose you go to the clinic of Freud. Okay, you met Freud. You told him, whenever I sit in the exam hall, I feel so tensed. I really, my hands, stop writing. I don't know why. Every day I am writing daily answer. Okay, daily answer program I have joined. I write daily answer in that program. But when someone will tell me, write the same in exam hall, I won't be able to do. Why? Then Freud will give you one solution. Freud will say, just keep silent for 2 minutes, and after 2 minutes, start speaking whatever comes to your mind. Stay silent for 2 minutes. Okay. 2 minutes over. Now Freud will say, whatever comes to your mind, start speaking it. Okay, now you guys must be wondering, why? Okay, but Freud is very much interested in what you are going to speak now. Okay, it's not about randomly speaking out of after 2 minutes silence. Now that person will start speaking. Freud will ask him not to stop, keep speaking until he gets tired or she gets tired. And then finally, Freud will ask him to stop after 20 minutes or 25 minutes. And then Freud will ask him to come again to the clinic next day. And by then, Freud believes that he would have explored the unconscious self. What is that something that he really wants in his life or she wants in life? An exam is something that he has been forcefully asked to write on. This is not something that the real self of that person wants. The real self wants something else. Okay. So this is the kind of personality that Freud was. One thing that we can learn from Freud is, the only one thing that we can learn from Freud is that Freud is one person who believes that individual develops his personality himself, all by himself. This is what Freud used to tell us. If man has become mature, it was only because of the mind games, not because of that stick that teacher beat him up with, or the scold, or the parents, the way the parents used to scold him. No, he became mature all by himself. Okay. I think you must have heard about Oedipal complex or Electra complex. Have you heard these terms? I'll explain you also that thing. Oedipal complex, Electra complex. Just to give you one example. What is Oedipal complex? I'm not going into the history of all those stories and Freud, because not required really. Freud used to believe that when a boy is born, a male child, the moment he is born, after some point of time, he starts feeling sexual attraction towards his mother. Sexual attraction. This is what Freud used to say. Now, this is very dangerous idea. And same with the girl. Same with the girl. Girl would feel sexual attraction towards his father. And then when that girl will become mature, she will start looking for a man who is like her father. And Freud will tell you the very reason why she is looking for someone who is like her father is because during her childhood, she was sexually attracted towards him. And she does not know it. He does not know it because that was going in the unconscious mind, which is hidden, suppressed. I am Freud. I will reveal that hidden zone. This is the kind of thing that Freud used to do. Okay, so enough of Freud. Now let me talk about sociologists. As you know that according to Freud, personality develops all by itself. Okay, in isolation to the social context, it is all about the conscious and unconscious conflict between all these IDs, id, ego, superego. This is what develops your personality. Sociologists would not agree with it. Okay, sociologists would say that your identity is not simply individual. All of us have social identities in societies. All of us have social identities. Someone of, like for example, all of you must have been to universities and schools, organizations, shops, mithai shops, halwai shops. Okay, everywhere you will find that you act differently. In university, when you meet professor, you would be very different. When you go to restaurant or bar with your friends, you would behave very differently. खुल के बात करते हो एकदम, कोई टेंशन नहीं, ठीक है. When you go to temple, you behave very differently. Now, was it all internal? The social context shaped your behavior. Social context shapes our behavior. Therefore, self does not consist only of I. Self does not consist only of I. Self also consists of, but also of me. And there is a difference between I and me. Okay, there is a difference between I and me. Me is a social self. Social self. Me is a social self. I is individual self. Ketan, yes, Ketan, I will explain that social action and how psychology, both of them are different. Okay. I consists of personality consists of I and me. I is individual self, me is social self. Social self means you shape your behavior or you manipulate your behavior according to the context where you are, whether you are in a club, bar, university, or at home. Okay. And I is completely devoid of these things, impulsive behavior. Okay. Now, you try to act impulsively in university. You forget for the timing that you are speaking to professor and you start dancing in the classroom. Start thinking as if that this is not classroom, it is a club, and start dancing. What will happen? What will happen? You will say that professors will slap her or slap him. No, professors will celebrate because annual function is going on. That means their reaction was also dependent on the context. The context was annual function. If it was not annual function, they would have slapped her or him. So whatever we do is shaped by the social context. It is not completely all about us, I, id, ego, super ego. Not every time. Okay. Now, now, as I have already told you, why people want to buy iPhone? What is the what is that fetish about iPhone? You want to gain recognition amongst your friends. This is hidden, according to Freud. You would never say this. You would never say this. You would always say iPhone is, best. It's very comfortable. And iPhone has so many features. And then your friend will say, अच्छा दिखाना जरा कौन से फीचर है वन प्लस मेरे पास वन प्लस है 10,000 times more feature than iPhone. But it is hidden. You would not never say, I wanted to say that status. All my friends have iPhone. That is why. Okay. But to gain recognition from your friend, if this is something that is influencing you to buy a product, that means your individual behavior is not purely individual, again social. Because you want to gain recognition amongst your friends, you want to gain status. And when you purchase iPhone, you are not purchasing object, you are purchasing the recognition that you can purchase iPhone. Okay, this is what sociologists would say. Anyhow, now all you guys remember very well that few minutes back I talked about one concept called as social action. Just few minutes back. What do you think? Social action is about psychology, it's about sociology, or it's about both? What do you think? Speak freely. Both. Both. Very good. Very good. That means both sociology and psychology come together. They become friends when we start discussing concepts like social action. Why? How come we become friends here? Because social action is all about the study of individual meanings and motives. And this brings us very close to a psychological study of an individual. Very close. Although there are many things which make us different from a psychologist. I don't want to go into that, but since we are simply beginners only, we are studying unit 1, so that is why I would make the things easier to you. And yes, I would say that social action is one theory that brings psychology and sociology closer to each other. Okay, but there are many other things also which bring both sociology and psychology closer to each other, not just social action. There is one concept, the concept of role. The concept of role, I'll explain. Yes, social psychology, yes, definitely. Aishwarya. Role. What is role? Individual, as a see, a sociologist would say individual does not exist, only roles exist. You take role. For example, today I have taken this role of a teacher of sociology. So I'm not Nishat. Okay, Nishat is someone who is in the home, or who knows what kind of person he is in the home. What you have before you is a teacher of sociology. I am in a role, and that way, since I'm in a role, I would feel constrained. I would not be speaking few things with you because I have to maintain this impression that I'm a teacher. So this role actually is not letting me speak freely. I would be very limited. A professor, when you go to university, you would see professor speaking in a very sophisticated language and speaking very slowly also sometimes. Okay, they would be like, female professors would be very strict in universities, but male professors somehow they become very docile kind of personalities in universities. Okay, so when the same person would go to restaurant or a bar, he has another role, friend. He is into a role of friend. Okay, if you are an army soldier, you have completely different role in society. These roles are external to you. You are into the role. Roles are not into you. You are into the role, and therefore you behave, speak, talk as is what is expected from that person who is in that role. Okay, and role is something that brings sociology and psychology very close to each other because the boundary becomes very blurred. You would not be easily able to say that role is a part of sociology, is not psychology. No, it is not like that. Remember one thing, whenever I try to differentiate between sociology and other disciplines, I would always talk about conventional differences. Conventional, those differences are not found today. These are only conventional differences. Okay, role. There is a concept, in the concept of role itself, there is a concept like role conflict. Role conflict. What is the meaning of role conflict? There is one more concept, role train. Role model, you already know. What is role conflict? Suppose I am an army soldier. I am an army soldier. So what is the expectation of my role? What is expected of me? To be completely committed to the duty of nation, duty towards my nation, to be completely patriotic, think nothing but about the safety of Mother India, nothing else. This is my role. But I am also a father to a child who is 5-year old and he needs parenting. Okay, he needs to know me. And for that, I would have to go home. I cannot go home. Army officers are not giving me leave. Now I'm in a conflict situation. What is more important to me right now? My India or my own kid? It's a role conflict. Suppose some of you students who are working professionals, you guys are feeling role conflict every day. You have to study sociology since you are preparing for UPSC. And you also have to complete the project given to you by your seniors. Role conflict. One person having two different roles, obviously in conflict with each other. Okay. How would you get time? Now, this is something that should be studied by sociologists or by psychologists. Is not really very interesting question. The thing is that the concept of role itself bridges the gap between these two disciplines. Okay. So I hope I'm clear with the concept of role with you guys. Okay. Okay. So write down one line. Conventionally speaking, conventionally speaking, psychology deals with individual and sociology deals with social structures. However, there is a branch of knowledge called as social psychology. However, there is a branch of knowledge called as social psychology, which bridges the gap between sociology and psychology. Which bridges the gap between sociology and psychology. Okay. Just telling you one last point here. One last point. Suicide is something that interests psychologists a lot. Why that person committed suicide? Why? Sushant Singh Rajput committed suicide. Psychologists would be very much interested in that. A sociologist would also be studying suicide. But a sociologist never studies why Sushant Singh Rajput committed suicide. This is not what sociologists would study. Sociologists would study why suicide happens in society. Because if it was so individualistic, then very few instances should have been there, but it is very general, it is very normal phenomena. It exists as much as the crime exists. It is so much normal. Why suicide happens in society? So the way we look at the things is very different from the way those things are being looked at by other social scientists. Although we may study few things which are very familiar, but the way we approach those things is something that differentiates us from those people. It is not the subject matter which is different. It is the way we look at that subject matter is something that makes us different from those people. Okay. So with this, I would like to take your leave. Tomorrow we will complete sociology versus economics, and we will start with unit 2, sociology as science, tomorrow. Unit 2, sociology as science. Okay. And we will finish this unit by Tuesday at any cost. And Wednesday we will start with theories, unit 4, sociological theories. Okay. So in case if students want to come offline, we will let them know, because they have been getting calls also. So we will let them know in case we can allow those students. Okay. So I hope there's no question today. Unit 3 after unit 4. Okay. Unit 3 is very simple. Hardly matter of one day. Not so important. Hardly a matter of one day. Unit 3. Any question? Say no. कभी तो नो बोल दो यार. Thank you, sir. Okay. Thank you. Yes, sir. 1 minute. अच्छा, बोल दो. तुम्हारे 1 मिनट के लिए रुके हैं सब. देखो रिया जैन. सौरभ सिन्हा, सर व्हाट इज रोल स्ट्रेन? Roll strain. You know, there was a point of time when Sachin Tendulkar, he had scored 99 centuries. Only one was left. One more. Everybody was like, Sachin, please, one more now. Centuries of centuries. We have been waiting for it since childhood, you know. This is the moment we've been waiting for. Kitna pressure Sachin Tendulkar pe tha. So much of the pressure he was carrying in his head that I have to score this stupid century of centuries. पता नहीं किसने observe किया ये first time. पता नहीं कहाँ से लेके आ गए. He was so tensed. It took him so much time to score that 100. Otherwise, if there was no such pressure, that he had to score century of centuries, that century would have been very normal to him. But just because this pressure was built, it took him very long time. This is role strain. Role strain. Okay, in that role as a cricketer, so many people expect from you, since you are already Bharat Ratna awardee. Okay, now, so expectations would also be more and more from you. Role strain in that specific role, you know, people start expecting a lot from you. Duty, that pressure builds up. This is role strain. कितने क्वेश्चंस निकल गए इतनी देर में? देखते हैं. How common sense become base for sociology? How common sense become the base for sociology? Simple. Study of social action. When you start studying social action, in the sense when you start studying the meanings and motives of individuals as to why they are doing whatever they are doing, it automatically becomes a part of, the common sense automatically becomes a part of sociology in that case. But there is something that I would not make you write right now. बाद में ठीक है. कॉमन सेंस के लिए उतना ही काफी जितना हमने पढ़ा. बाकी एनी हाउ यू विल गेट द रेस्ट ऑफ द थिंग्स इन दी हैंड आउट. ओके, तो अभी मैथ्स पेपर को ज्यादा वैसा नहीं लेना है सीरियसली. वो स्ट्रेन हो गया. शिवम गर्ग, डिफरेंस बिटवीन सोशल फिजियोलॉजी एंड सोशल पैथोलॉजी. शिवम गर्ग, ये क्वेश्चन इतना इंपॉर्टेंट है नहीं, बट फिर भी मैं बता देता हूँ. सोशल फिजियोलॉजी का मतलब होता है to study all the bodies or organs of society, okay, or to find flaws in it, okay, and to fix this. Social pathology is a very specific branch dealing with crime, poverty, only the ailments, nothing else. It is not about study of economy as such, study of quality as such. It is only about the problems in these, nothing else. It's more specialized. How common sense become base हो गया? Mayan Yadav sir, what is free association and dream analysis? Mayan, seems you are very much fond of Freud. Okay, free association, I told you na. Speak freely whatever you want to do, whatever you want to speak for the next 20 minutes. This is what Freud wanted the other person to speak so that he could understand the real unconscious mind. Okay, this was free association. Dream analysis is very next level thing. I don't want to go into that right now. Okay. Sir, can you, because Freud believed that the real personality is hidden in the dream. Whatever you see in the dream is actually real, and what you project yourself in the everyday life is fake. Okay, the dream is very bizarre. Sometimes you see very bizarre kind of dreams. Okay, very bizarre, and that is the real self. That is your desire. Actually, your desires are reflected in your dreams only. Okay, and what you do in your everyday life is nothing but simulacra, fake simulation. Okay. What are all ideology lead to emergence? विक्रम, ये क्वेश्चन अब पूछ रहे हो तुम? पहले पूछना था, ये हो चुका है. So does self change with time? अरे सृष्टि, अच्छा, see, never ever start developing interest in these people. These are not your friends. Always try to maintain restraint. Never start developing friendship with Freud, Max Weber. It will hurt you. Trust me, it will hurt you. Don't develop interest in these personalities. Okay. Yashi, sir, please address Nutan's question. What was Nutan's question? ये क्या चल रहा है भाई? हैं? नूतन का क्वेश्चन ढूंढे और कहाँ गया? अरे Nutan, can you please write your question? Where is your question? Acha, while writing answers in introduction, do we need to use definitions of keywords written by scholars, or we can write our own definition? No. Nutan, you have to write the definitions given by scholars. I'm not saying you have to write it verbatim, word by word. That cannot happen. That should not be happening. You may use your own words. The soul should be, the soul is more important. The soul of that concept should remain intact. The body may differ. One or two words may go here and there. Soul should be there. Okay, Yashi, clear hai? Okay, chalo. Bye bye.